Hey everyone, today I'm reviewing the Onyx Boox Nova Air e-reader. This is an Android tablet with an e-ink display. First of all, disclaimer, this is a review unit on loan from ILUHO, a company based here in Singapore that sells products from Onyx Boox. I have links to their web stores in the video description below. Right, let me give you the bottom line up front. This is a beautiful e-reader with solid build quality and feels very premium. The performance is quite good as an e-reader. However, performance is limited by the speed of the e-ink display because the refresh rate is not as fast compared to colored displays. But the speed you get with this e-ink display is very typical of e-readers. The price at the time of this review is 515 Singapore dollars. On Amazon USA, it's 350 US dollars. If you don't need the e-ink display for the same price, you can actually get an Android tablet or an iPad with color displays. These are the items included in the box. We have the tablet, USB-A to USB-C cable, quick start guide and warranty info, a pressure sensitive stylus. This stylus has a beautiful design with solid build quality. It's not powered by battery, so no charging is required. There is this flat side here which allows you to snap it to the side of the e-reader, and the magnets are quite strong. There are no side buttons. The surface texture is matte and you can see these grooves here. They provide excellent grip for the pen, and that's the pen nib. Writing performance is fantastic. More on that later. This is a surprise gift which may be included with the purchase of the e-reader. It's actually a magnetic sleeve and the build quality is really good. The canvas texture is quite tough. That's the Boox logo. The stitching is well done and it provides excellent protection for the e-reader even if you drop this on the floor. Whether you can get this will depend on whether ILUHO has any stocks for this. Alternatively, you can consider the flip case. So with this, you just slide the e-reader into position and it would attach with magnets. This flip case will protect the front and the back but not the sides. It doesn't add too much thickness to the e-reader, so the pen can still attach on the side. This is some sort of silver color. It's quite smooth. Logo is here at the bottom right. The interior has this velvet-like texture and this actually provides very good grip. And there is auto slip and wake function, which is quite convenient. These two buttons are for flipping pages or navigation and they have firm clicks to them. There is no auto rotation with the tablet, so if you want to use the buttons on the right side, you have to go into the settings to change the orientation manually. Let's take a closer look at this e-reader. The design is very beautiful. You can hold this easily in one hand. It's quite thin, just 6.3 millimeter. And it's 235 grams, so it's not that heavy. The build quality is very solid and it looks really premium. On the back, you have this beveled design. When I first saw this design, I had mixed feelings, but after using this for a few days, it looks alright to me. And at the bottom here, you can see this very high glossy metal part. This is where you can find the two speakers, a mic, the USB-C charging port. The audio quality from the speakers is alright, just that the volume is kinda low. And at the top we have the power button. There are no other buttons, there are no volume buttons. On this side, we have the 3-pin pogo connector for the magnetic flip case. The matte textured back is very comfortable to hold, so I accidentally opened up this book. This is an Android tablet that supports finger gestures, and you can swipe up here to look at all the apps that are open and swipe in the middle to go to the home page and swipe here to go back. This is a 7.8-inch e-reader with e-ink kata display. The resolution is 1872 by 1404, 300 dpi. It doesn't seem like a matte screen protector is applied, so this is the actual matte textured display. The visuals are very sharp, and the contrast of the text against the e-ink canvas is fantastic. There is 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of onboard storage. Onyx Boox has their own UI on top of Android 10. There is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Battery capacity is 2000 mAh. Battery life can last for weeks if you are just reading ebooks, or days if you have the Wi-Fi on all the time. Some of the Android features includes this, where you can swipe down to get access to shortcuts and notifications. You can choose your connection. Under e-ink center, you can adjust the sharpness, contrast of the e-ink. Here you can adjust the color temperature, and this is where you can adjust the brightness. And this is the volume control. Let me just set it down to mute. That's the button for changing the orientation. Now there are just way too many features for me to mention one by one, so I'm just highlighting the important ones. Another way to change the lighting is to press and hold the left or right edge of the display until a bar appears, and you can swipe up and down to adjust the brightness or color temperature. It's going to take some time to get used to knowing where exactly to put your fingers at the left and right edge to call up the slider. And these are the shortcuts you can set for the left and right sliders. You can set it to change the brightness, color temperature, volume, or adjust the contrast. This is the maximum brightness. The lighting is quite even, except for the top where it seems to be slightly brighter. Let's adjust the color temperature. And it looks quite warm. Let's go through the 6 sections that you see on the home screen: library, store, notes, storage, apps, and settings. You can see all your ebooks in the library. You can transfer your ebooks to internal storage, and the library will filter out all those non-ebook formats to show you only the ebooks. This is the list of ebook formats supported by this e-reader. Now this is not the complete list because the company did not list all the ebook formats. Anyway, even if your ebook cannot be opened here, for example, let me just open this AZW3 file. So it says that it cannot be opened. It doesn't matter because this is an Android tablet with Google Play Store, so you can just install an app to open whatever file format that you have. That is the versatility you get with Android OS and Google Play Store. By the way, the app that is used to open all the ebooks is actually eReader. So all the ebook formats that are supported are actually the ebook formats supported by eReader. For the dictionary, you may have to install it yourself if the app that you use doesn't come with an installed dictionary. Next, we have the store, which is limited to just DRM-free or copyright-free books, and some of these books are so old that copyright ran out. Anyway, the selection that you get from this store is extremely limited. Next, let's take a look at note-taking. So this app is fantastic for taking notes, and the handwriting performance provided by the e-reader and this pen is fantastic. It's 5 out of 5 easily. There are so many features here that I can actually make a separate video just talking about all these note-taking features. There are different pens you can choose. There are different colors, which are actually just different shades of gray on this e-ink display. You can choose different page templates. You can create layers as well, as if this is a drawing program, so you can have text on one layer and drawings on another. This app can capture my handwriting quite accurately, and the handwriting performance is surprisingly responsive. And the matte textured surface of the display is really nice to write on, so the overall handwriting and note-taking experience on this e-reader is easily A+ for me. When it comes to erasing, you will erase the stroke rather than erasing that tiny area there. There is a feature that can convert your handwritten notes into editable text. If you choose original recognition, it will convert this into 3 lines of text. If you choose reflow recognition, it would reflow your text into a single line. By the way, this conversion is much faster because I have already converted it earlier. If you are doing a new conversion, it's going to take some time. Unfortunately, the text recognition is not that accurate though, so you can see some of the words, they are jumbled. Hopefully the company can improve the text recognition software in the future. Anyway, because there is Google Play Store, you can always install another note-taking app with better text recognition software. Whether you can mark up text will depend on the e-reader app you are using. This is the default New Reader app, and when you change the font size, the markup will follow the text to a certain extent, unless the font size change is too drastic. The fourth section is storage. So this is the file browser for the internal storage. There is only 32 gigs of storage, so that may or may not be enough depending on what you want to store here. For storing just ebooks, that's definitely more than enough. File transfer is possible with a cable connection to your computer, or you can have file transfer wirelessly as well. To transfer the files wirelessly, you have to use the Bookstrop app. This is done through the web interface, so you can scan this QR code, which will go to this link, which is actually a network link to your computer, or you can go to the Books website here where you have to sign in either with your account or with your phone. I prefer to use this. For the first link to work, the e-reader must be on the same Wi-Fi network as your computer, and the transfer speed will be the speed of your network. Once you load the link, you will be presented with this file browser of the e-reader, and all these are files on the e-reader. So to transfer files to your e-reader, just upload whatever files you want from your computer. And this is the fifth section, the apps section. So all the apps that you install from the Google Play Store will appear here. So I've installed Amazon Kindle, Libby, Google Maps, Overdrive. You can also install YouTube and watch videos if you don't mind watching videos with a lot of ghosting. Google Play Store is not enabled by default, so before you can use this, you have to enable Google Play Store. To do that, all you have to do is go into App Management, enable Google Play, just turn it on. This is step 1. Step 2, you have to sign into your Google account to give authorization to this e-reader so that it can use Google Play. And now with the Google Play Store, you can install other ebook stores such as Kindle, Kobo Books, Libby, and now you have access to unlimited books. With Libby or Overdrive, you can borrow books from your local library if your local library is on the network. So this basically will give you access to unlimited books, and you don't have to spend money because you are actually just borrowing books from the library. The text adjustments you can make, such as fonts, font size, margin, layout, all those will be determined by the ebook app that you are using. In case you're wondering what it's like to watch a video on an e-ink display, well, it's not a very good experience because there is no color and the refresh rate of the display is not that high, and depending on the type of video you're watching, sometimes you can get very severe ghosting, such as in this case here, you can see the brush moving up and down. You can see the ghosting of the brush. Onyx Boox actually has its own app store. At the time of making this review, it only has 50 apps, so it's very limited. You definitely want to be using Google Play Store instead. And the last section is settings. The one thing I want to talk about is system display. You can choose the full refresh frequency here, and now it's set to 5 pages. If you set the page to refresh every 5 pages, you are going to see ghosting and image retention from the previous pages. So let me show you what's going to happen. Let's say I have a grid template here, and now I want to change this to horizontal lines. So let's change that. I'm not sure if my camera can capture it, but I can definitely see the grid pattern from earlier. And I've just changed to the dot template, and now I can still see the grid pattern from earlier. So if you want the page to refresh more often, you can change that in the settings, or you can choose to have the page refresh manually using one of the shortcuts here, and this would wipe out all the image retention. If you have the page refresh very often, you're going to see the page like visibly refreshed, so that may not be quite a nice experience, which is why sometimes you may want to have a higher number for the page refresh. The last feature I want to talk about is this shortcut button here, which you can actually move to different areas on the page, and when you tap on it, it will call up some shortcuts here which you can customize. One of the shortcuts is to refresh the page manually. You can also power off the e-reader, record, screenshot. You can customize the shortcuts here. This is quite useful. There's a button here where it will show you all the apps that are open, just like how you would swipe up the bottom left to see all this. And when you double tap on this button, it will go back to the home screen. Alright, to conclude, this is a beautiful e-reader with solid build quality. And as an e-reader, it performs really well. This is extremely versatile because there is Google Play Store. If you need any feature, you can always go into Google Play Store to look for an app with that feature. The visual quality of the e-ink is good, the text is sharp, and the pages, they refresh quite quickly for an e-reader. 7.8 inch is a good size for reading books. For reading comics, I find the text to be slightly smaller, but that will of course depend on the type of comics you are reading. This is definitely a very capable e-reader because it has Google Play Store, and I'm pleasantly surprised by just how good the note-taking experience is and just how much features there are with the note-taking app. If you think of this as an Android tablet with e-ink display, you may be disappointed because the speed is going to be limited by the refresh rate of the e-ink display. This is just not going to be as fast compared to Android tablets or iPads with their colored displays. As to whether this is worth the money, you can decide. Check out the links that I have for you in the video description below to see the full list of specifications as well as links to where you can buy this online. Thanks for watching this. I hope this review is helpful. See you guys in the next video. Bye.